The other day I was watching John Sterman's video introduction to his system dynamics course at MIT, and it contained a model that I thought was really rather insightful and demonstrated something that I think we very often forget. If we begin with a situation where there's some current state of the system and we have goals which really represent a different state of the current system, it's the difference between those goals and the current state which is responsible for the actions that we take attempting to move the system in the direction of the goals. And we end up with a very simple balancing loop. The difficulty is that we often don't think beyond these actions intended to migrate the system in the direction of the goals. We don't, as Sengi said, seldom can we ever do just one thing, that our actions typically have multiple implications. So that if we think about this a bit more, and in reality what we typically find is that that set of actions intended to migrate the system in the direction of the goals actually has some other effects. Often they're called side effects, and Sterman says there's no reason to call them side effects. They're just effects. They are the natural implication of the actions that we took to change the state of the system, though usually there's a delay involved so that those actions after some period of time produce some set of effects which actually work against us moving the system in the direction that we wanted it to go to line up with the goals, so that we now have a reinforcing loop which is acting against what we were really trying to accomplish. It's sort of the counterintuitive implications of our actions that we simply didn't think about. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, in most instances, there is some others who have a different set of goals for the current state of the system, and it's the difference between their goals and the current state that causes them to take actions to migrate the system in the direction of their goals. And while that's happening, they are typically guilty of the same things in terms of not thinking about the other implications of those actions, so that after some delay, there are other effects produced by those actions which work against the migration of the system in the direction that they wanted it to go. So they end up with a reinforcing loop that's working against their actions. Now, if you put all this together, it looks a little overwhelming, though in reality, what we have here is what's typically referred to as a fixes that fail structure. And this is the same structure, so that we have two of them. This is the reason that doing goal alignment ends up being so powerful, because if the goals of these two individuals or groups were in fact aligned so that their actions were trying to move the system to the same goal as opposed to different goals, they wouldn't be working against each other. And if they thought about the real implications of the actions that they were going to take, then it would be less likely that they would end up producing effects that actually worked against what it was that they were trying to accomplish. And more often than not, or should I say seldom, are there only two actors involved in the environment trying to move the state of the system in some direction. It's not unthinkable to have many individuals or groups trying to move the system in different directions, and they're working against each other's efforts. Now, this model, this video, I've put in an element called the larger system, along with a link to Sterman's video that I got this from, and a link to the fixes that fail archetype if you want to investigate that structure a bit more. So hope you found this informative, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.